Of course.
All right.
All right.
So
What's good? So it got a little crazy with the whole build, and realistically, it was kind of more or less get it done than focusing on trying to film it. So there are some clips. I'm gonna insert the clips into the video, but primarily what you're gonna be hearing is Russian Matt tell us all about what happened with the actual build and everything, and kind of go into detail because I don't feel like I know enough about it to talk about it. So he's just gonna go over it, and it'll be easier that way. And since I didn't film everything, my bad. It'll be easier just to get his insight on what happened and how he had to overcome it and shit. So, yeah. So, Russian Matt, introduce yourself to my peeps. Introduce yourself to my 15 followers.
yeah. All right. What's up, guys? I'm Matt. I'm actually not Russian.
That's
I'm
cool.
from Lithuania, but I do speak some Russian. I got into drifting about, I would say, roughly 8 years ago, and I started off my first car, which is actually the car you're going to be seeing in the build, which is a '91 S13 hatch. Just I had it as an SR to begin with, and then I wrecked it. That's why it has the tubed front end, and then I rebuilt it and sat about for a year or so until I actually started driving it. And then it got stolen, the SR got blown up, then I swapped another S14 SR in it, and that was the best setup that I had. And then I drove to a puddle.
Is that what happened with the rear end?
The rear end.
You driving into a puddle?
No, that's what hydrolocked my S14 SR. And then the
Oh.
car sat for about a year
Dang.
until I was getting ready to rebuild the SR and actually build it for power. But then I got a 1J.
Where'd you get the 1J through?
I got the 1J from Meat Motorsports,
Hey.
from that guy right there.
Hey.
He hooked it up, came through hella good. Came in the R154, all the basic stuff that I practically needed. And then I just started piling the parts up. I got the wiring specialties harness, all the mounts, everything was brand new, flywheel, clutch. Like, I just wanted a fresh, reliable setup that I could drive and actually enjoy it and not have a whole lot of downtime. And then the car sat for about another 10 months until I finally got to work on it, which was last week. I brought the car back into town on Friday,
I think
last
it was.
Friday. Yeah, and then we actually started working on it Sunday. And I had a plan to get the whole car running in about 3 days, and it did not happen. Because I kept running into issues which were just silly things that mainly I have caused myself, because this is my first time working on a JZ and first time swapping a JZ. But luckily I had Matt, and with his knowledge I was able to accomplish this in fairly decent amount of time. Main issues that I ran into was the biggest thing that happened was me dropping one of the washers from the shifter gasket into the transmission. Because what happened, we had to split the transmission before to install my shifter, which is off topic on this one because it's secret stuff.
It's a little formula. We'll might go into that. We'll see.
Yeah, we're not gonna go into that, but I had to split the transmission open, and when I put the new silicone on, it sealed really good. And then once I dropped the washer in there, and it actually fell into a location that I could have fished it out, but when I tried to split the transmission again, I actually split the main gear housing from the front housing. So at that point, we had to disassemble the whole transmission. And when we got there, it worked out kind of good because I wanted to see the internals of the transmission, making sure that I have a good transmission. And once we put it back together, it was stuck in reverse. I'm glad I actually checked to make sure that the gear still worked. That's how I found out it was stuck. Then I had to split it open again and reseal the whole thing after we just sealed it, 10 hours ago? And that took about a day and a half of my downtime. Plus, it was me running around town getting parts. I needed fuel tank straps. I needed my bushings machine, like all the little stuff that I needed. I thought I had everything ready, but I did not. And that was the most challenging part of the whole process of putting the engine into the car. But otherwise, Thursday was a pretty good day since I actually managed to assemble the engine and everything. I did a little freshen up on the engine valve cover gaskets and injector seals. I did not go with the whole water pump and timing kit because I just ran out of cash on that, and everything looked pretty good. Like nothing was leaking. If it happens, it's not a big deal. It's not an interference engine, so no big deal.
Right.
And it's easy to access since I don't have like nothing in my front end.
Yeah.
If I had to do it. Otherwise, putting the engine into the car itself was pretty challenging because the hoist that we had, the arm, did not reach out long enough. So we literally had to set the engine down, pull the bolt off, and then literally just leave like this much of an arm into the hoist. And it was quite dangerous, but with my buddy's help, Alberto, we actually managed to get it to sit in there and bolt it down. And then I spent another like 7 hours putting the transmission mount on because the transmission mount that I had, the bracket, somehow did not want to line up the holes. But otherwise, the engine's in there. I actually managed to get it to fire up just on brake cleaner because I don't have the intercooler piping yet because it has to be done all custom due to my front end and the intercooler setup that I have. The cooling is not connected yet because I just didn't feel like there's the need for me to rush all that. I just want to make sure that the engine fires up. But what I did to the car was rear subframe replacement, front subframe replacement. I relocated the fuel lines, new gas tank. We actually fixed the rear end on the car because I had it pushed in due to accident at Get Nuts, old lab back in like 2013 or so, and I just never bothered to fix it. And now I actually replaced the whole chassis harness. Dustin at Meyer Racewire made me a custom harness per my request, and it worked. Everything was plug and play, so I'm glad that part was easy to where I could just plug in all the connectors, which was like 3 connectors, and get the engine to fire up. Besides all the sensors and stuff, all new fuel lines, fuel pump, every single new control arm, it's all pretty much Godspeed, but everything was cleaned and painted, as you're going to see in the video. We actually cleaned the underside of the car because it was pretty nasty. About 28 years of dirt. Yeah, so
you'll see it. That
was actually
gross.
your idea, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, that thing came out
Spaghetti,
nice.
you're a good guy.
Hey.
Yeah. So and that's pretty much it. And the future plans for the car are to complete the full interior because I have all the pieces for the interior, but I decided not to put that in yet because I still have to put all the wiring in cleanly, clean it up. I still have to modify the center console for my hydro, which is going to be my first time trying a hydro out. I never really liked them, but I'll try this one out. We also did a dual caliper setup. I got the brackets from Maverick. Did a 5-lug conversion, Z-brake conversion, because up to this point the car was on the VLSD diff. It had let's see, what else did it have? Man, I'm forgetting all the dude.
All right, but real quick, I wanted to kind of ask you, like, you said you worked on the suspension and you did the suffering. I remember seeing all that when we did all that, but like, what was
Like
what's done to the
specifically?
suffering? Yeah.
I had a subframe from a couple of years ago that it had solid subframe bushings, and I painted it all nice. I don't know why. I mean, it's dirty anyways, but I put that into the car. I replaced every single control arm, all new hubs, brakes, everything's brand new in there except the lower control arms, which I like running the stock ones since they don't break. And I did welded differential, like this one. We got the 3.9 welded boy over here.
Nice.
Yeah, since it's going to be pretty much more of a drift car than my daily, because I used to actually daily that car.
Nice.
Quiet on set.
Crazy.
You don't have to pause it.
Well, it
It's
is.
Chicken Legs calling me.
Hey.
Hey, shout out to Chicken Legs.
You got the car here.
Yeah, he actually towed my car here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did the front cross member. I did the eBay special front control arms, which I ran before, and I was cool with them because they never disappointed me. I also freshened up a couple more little things in the front. Also did the 5-lug swap, and I did Z32 brake swap, and I did dual calipers in the rear, so all the brakes are fresh. And I don't know what Matt's doing behind me, but that's kind of weird. Anyways, I think that's all that I did to the chassis wise, besides fixing it and washing it. Like the whole car got stripped and I cleaned everything out, so there's no 30-year-old 240 musty smell. You know what it smells
Nice.
like? Yeah.
Everything's been freshened up on the chassis. The only thing I wanted to ask you, like, why didn't you get another SR?
Well, the original plan was to build my SR, the S14 SR that I had. I picked up an S15 bottom and everything for it, and then I got handed a 1J VVTi, and honestly, I always wanted that engine because it was my dream engine, and I could not say no to that, and I just traded my old setup for the 1J, and here we are now. I got a 1J that I always wanted, so that's
Nice.
yeah, that's the reason why.
Cool. Let's see. So you also went 5-lug. Why not? You got tired of 4-lug or?
I did 5-lug because I wanted the ease of getting wheels. Because most of the wheels that I want, they're 5-lug. I do have some nice, well, not really nice, but I had a bunch of 4-lug wheels and I was just tired of them because of how hard it is to get good offset and good
Specs?
size spec wheels. And like if I want to build some wheels, it is way easier to do 5-lug than 4-lug. And I just didn't want to run no adapters or anything like that. And the cost was okay since I went with those Tomei gun 5-lug, but originally the plan was to swap in OEM bearings, but I ran out of time and money on that, so I'm actually going to be pulling all the hubs off again to swap all the OEM bearings in so it'll be reliable. And that's about it on chassis. Besides, I'll be painting and new body kit. Shout out to Jeremy, he hooked me up on a body kit too.
Nice.
Yep, so I got a full body kit now. It's kind
Yeah.
of used, but it works.
Hey. So we'll see a refresh on the car completely from the outside too. And then let's see if anything else comes to mind. So engine's all been touched up. The chassis itself's been cleaned up. Subframe front and rear's been refreshing.
We pretty much did a budget frame restoration.
Yeah. you can
Pretty
say
much.
that.
On a budget, you know. It's the
Uh,
best that I could do at this point.
you're still running your coilovers that were on the car.
Yeah, I still have my same old. Actually, my first set of coilovers that I got 6 years ago. They're JIC FLTA2s, and they just work great.
Nice.
I don't see the reason for me to spend more money on coilovers because they work good. They're actually great coilovers. Never disappointed me.
Exactly. If it's not broken, why fix it?
Kind of broken, but it works.
You just said you switched to Z30 brakes, or what'd you say?
Yeah, I did the Z32 brake swap.
Nice.
All 30 mil in the rear, dual calipers.
Have you ran dual calipers before?
No, this will be my first time, and first time running a hydro. I did a ASD pull-up hydro because I wanted to look as stock as possible, and there's just G-Gate deck lines and Goldwood Master, just pretty basic setup, but to where it'll be reliable and quality and
Nice.
stuff.
What are your plans to with the car? Are you planning to take it out to Vegas Drift or?
Definitely, yes. I'm planning to hit Vegas Drift events, and mainly it's going to be my weekend street car, but also Vegas Drift car. I'll still be hitting the streets and stuff.
Sick. So you're gonna keep it stock then, stock ECU, stock power.
For a time being, until I get used to this power plant, because like I said, this is my first JZ, so I want to learn how this engine drives, because there's going to be actual weight difference in the front.
Yeah. there's
I
gonna
want
be
to
a
get
learning.
used to. I want to get used to the power band, to the gearing, the way it works, and then the plans are to get the future Fab manifold and big turbo and probably ECU Masters ECU.
Sick. Have you ever driven any JZ cars?
I've driven a couple of JZ cars. I've driven Manny's.
Nice.
Actually, this car right here,
Yeah.
and it felt great, except the bushings. That was kind of funky.
Yeah.
But
that-
I actually liked it, the power band and how smooth it is. And I've driven a couple more. I've driven an SC300 that was 1J non-VVTi twin turbo, and I felt how actually notchy the R154 is. But I drove this one, and this one felt way better.
yeah.
So that's why we did that. What we did to the tranny,
Sick.
and
Meat sauce.
yeah, and then I drove it and I was like, you know what, I actually like this a lot. And plus, it's a reliable setup. You can't go wrong with the JZ.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. Like, we covered everything, and then anything in the future will be in all the videos.
Oh, of course, we'll
So-
revisit this car again.
Yeah, you guys will see it actually in action at Vegas Drift. We'll see the progression of the car. If there's any questions or any comments that you guys want to drop down, make sure to do it down below. But that's pretty much it for the video. Is there anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Oh, yeah,
Or-
of
'cause,
course.
over the period of the build, I've seen a lot of his friends come by and like pitch in and just help. So like, if you want to,
Oh, of course, yeah. You guys, Maddie over here, his Jay-Z knowledge and just his help was overall the biggest thing here, because like without him, I would not have been able to accomplish this. Then Mr. Spaghetti, aka Night Spirit Auto Works,
hey,
for helping me clean up, put the subframes in and stuff. You know, big help too. Also Alberto, this dude always comes through for me, helping put the engine in, more parts here and there, you know. Brother Jared for the Z32 wheels, because I did not have any 5-lug wheels besides my Style 95s. And Dustin at my Racewire for actually making me a custom harness that I needed, which was the key point of the car starting, and Wiring Specialties for making the 1J harness, which was plug and play. I had never had an issue with them. And just more people, Jeremy, aka North Korean, for hooking me up on the body kit and more parts. And it's just like all the people that like gave me all these parts. Or there's Fonzie too for providing me with the fuel tank straps. Even though I thought they're wrong, they're right. But yeah, just more people that I can't even think of. Just everyone, thank you for the help and support.
all right, brother, close her out.
Alright, so if you guys want to see more of the car and see how the build's going, you can always follow me on Instagram at MadMadDrifts. We're actually going to put it in the link below. And then follow these guys, Night Spirit Auto Works. And Meet Motorsports with Meet_Motorsports. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoy the car that I'm building. And thank you. See you guys later.